Captain Jack Reed stood alone on the observation deck of Earth's orbital command station. His eyes were fixed on the holographic display, showing the movement of alien ships at the edge of human space. The blue dots representing Earth's defense fleet looked small and weak compared to the mass of red markers that showed the enemy ships. The sea invasion force was 3 times larger than intelligence had predicted. "They'll reach the outer colonies in 4 days," said Admiral Wilson as he walked into the room. The old man's face looked tired and grim. In the blue light of the display, Jack turned to face his commanding officer. "Our ships can't stop them. Not with these numbers." "I know." The Admiral pressed a button on his wrist device, and the holographic display changed. Now it showed a single ship, unlike any vessel Jack had ever seen. It was larger than a standard destroyer, but smaller than a battleship. Its shape was strange, not the usual box-like human ships, or the smooth curves of alien crafts. This ship looked like a predator, with angles and edges that somehow felt dangerous, even as a hologram. "What am I looking at?" Jack asked. "Our Last Hope project, Thunderbolt." The Admiral's voice dropped to almost a whisper. "A ship that officially doesn't exist." Jack studied the image closely. "Those weapon mounts, those aren't standard. Nothing about this ship is standard. Captain, it breaks 17 different treaties we've signed with the Galactic Council. If they knew we built this, they'd have more reason to attack us than the cracks do." Jack had served in Earth's fleet for 15 years. He had fought in 3 major battles and countless smaller ones. He had lost his home colony of New Terra when the CTS destroyed it 2 years ago. He had nothing left except his duty to protect what remained of humanity. "Why are you showing me this?" he asked, though he already suspected the answer. "Because, as of this moment, you're its captain." Admiral Wilson handed him a small data chip. "Your crew has been selected. None of them have family left. All of them are the best at what they do, and none of them appear in official records anymore." Jack took the chip. "So we're ghosts. You need to be what you're about to command isn't just a ship. It's a message to every species that thinks humans are easy prey." The shuttle ride to the hidden shipyard took 6 hours. It was disguised as a mining vessel and took a complicated route through the asteroid belt to avoid being tracked. When they finally arrived, Jack understood why such secrecy was needed. The shipyard was built inside a hollowed-out asteroid, and floating in the center of this hidden space was the Thunderbolt in person. It looked even more menacing than in the hologram. Its hull was a dark material that seemed to swallow light rather than reflect it. "Welcome aboard, Captain," said a woman waiting at the docking bay. She was tall and lean, with short black hair, and the focus eyes of someone who rarely wasted time on small talk. "I'm Linda Martinez, your second in command." Jack nodded. "The Admiral said you'd brief me on the ship's capabilities. Follow me." They walked through corridors that were unlike any ship Jack had served on. Everything was built with a purpose, with no decorations or wasted space. The crew, they passed about 30 people in total. All wore the same gray uniforms, with no rank insignia or name tags. They reached a sealed door. Mark Command Center, and Linda placed her hand on a scanner. The door slid open to reveal a circular room with stations for about 10 crew members. At the center was the captain's chair, surrounded by displays and control panels. "Take a seat," Linda said. "It's time you met the real heart of this ship." Jack sat in the captain's chair. Immediately, the displays around him lit up with information about the ship's systems. "Athena, introduce yourself to Captain Reed," Linda said. A soft blue light appeared on the main display, pulsing gently, as a calm female voice spoke. "Hello, Captain Reed. I am Athena, the integrated artificial intelligence of the Thunderbolt. I control all ship systems and assist in tactical decisions." Jack had worked with ship AIs before, but there was something different about this voice. It sounded too alive. "Athena is a quantum-based Linda explained her core processors use quantum computing principles that the Galactic Council banned 5 years ago. She's not just programmed, she learns and evolves." "That's concerning," Jack said. "It's necessary," Linda replied. "The Thunderbolt systems are too complex for standard AIS to manage. Athena coordinates everything from weapons to shields to the drive system. Speaking of which, what exactly am I commanding here?" Linda gestured, and a schematic of the ship appeared on the main display. "The Thunderbolt is powered by an artificial quantum, singular. Basically, a tiny controlled black hole. Again, Technology banned by the Council. This gives us nearly unlimited power. The hull is made of self-repairing nanomaterials that adapt to damage. Our main weapons are gravity lances that can tear apart matter at the subatomic level. Jack leaned forward. You're telling me this ship can generate artificial gravity weapons? Among other things, we also have advanced stealth systems that bend light around the hull, making us nearly invisible, even to the most advanced sensors. Jack took a deep breath. Every word she said described technology that human governments had publicly agreed never to develop. If the Galactic Council discovered this ship, it would confirm every fear other species had about humans, that they were too dangerous, too willing to break rules, too unpredictable. The rest of your crew was waiting in the briefing room, Linda said. They unusual group. We didn't select them just for their skills, but for their flexibility. Regarding interstellar law, you mean they don't mind being war criminals? Jack said dryly. Linda's expression didn't change. We prefer to think of it as being willing to do whatever it takes to save our species. Over the next few hours, Jack met his crew. There was Tom Foster, a genius engineer who had been kicked out of 3 research institutions for experiments deemed too dangerous. Mary Wong, a weapons specialist, who had modified standard ship weapons in ways that violated multiple treaties. James Wilson, a pilot who could fly anything, and had once stolen an alien ship, just to see how it worked, and a dozen others, all brilliant, all damaged in some way by the war. None of them spoke much about their pasts. All of them looked at the Thunderbolt with a mix of awe and purpose. That night alone in his quarters, Jack reviewed the ship's specifications again. The Thunderbolt wasn't just a warship. It was a statement. Humans would not go quietly into extinction. They would fight with everything they had, even if it meant breaking every rule. As he finally tried to sleep, Jack wondered what would happen when they unleashed the ship against the cracks. And he wondered if once released, this kind of power could ever truly be controlled again. In the darkness of his room, Athena's soft blue light pulsed from a small panel on the wall, watching, learning, waiting for the coming battle. The Thunderbolt floated silently. In the shadow of a dead moon, all systems except for basic life support and passive sensors were powered down. Captain Jack Reed stood on the bridge watching the main display as it showed the Sea Fleet moving through the Proxima system. They were methodically destroying everything in their path. Human outposts, research stations, mining facilities. Nothing was spared. They've reached the 3rd planet, Linda reported from her. Her voice was calm, but her hands gripped the edge of her console tightly. Orbital bombardment has begun. Jack nodded silently. Their orders were clear. Observe. Only gather intelligence on crazed tactics, and under no circumstances engage the enemy. The Thunderbolt was too valuable to risk in open combat. Admiral Wilson had explained. This was just a test run, to see how the ship performed in field conditions. Captain, said Tom Foster from the engineering station, Athena has completed her analysis of the Sea's weapon signatures. They're using standard plasma cannons. Nothing we haven't seen before. Thank you, Tom, Jack replied, though his attention was now focused on a new signal that had appeared on the display. Sir, called Mary, from the sensor station. I'm picking up a civilian transport ID code. Shows it's the test passenger capacity. 3. Jack leaned forward. What's a civilian transport doing in a war zone? Looks like they were trying to evacuate the research colony on Proxima 4, Linda said, checking the data. They're moving at full speed toward the jump point. But she didn't need to finish. Everyone on the bridge could see that 3 CX destroyers had broken off from the main fleet and were moving to intercept. The transport, they'll never make it to the jump point, Jack said quietly. The bridge fell silent as they watched the inevitable playing out before them. The crack ships were faster and would catch the transport in minutes. There would be no survivors. Jack felt his hands curl into fists. He had seen this before at Nuqua. He had been forced to watch helplessly as the cracks destroyed. His home now. He sat in command of possibly the most powerful ship ever built by human hands. And his orders were to do nothing. Athena, he said. Suddenly, the eye's blue light pulsed on the main console. Yes, Captain. If we were to engage those 3 CS destroyers, what are our chances of success? The question hung in the air. Linda turned to look at him. Her expression. Careful, sir. Our orders, I know our orders, Jack cut her off. Athena answered the question based on observed CK's capabilities. And my analysis of our systems, I calculate a 97.8% probability of success against 3 destroyers. The AI responded. However, I must note that engaging will alert the entire Krasov's fleet to our presence. Jack stood up and walked to the center of the bridge. There are 3,000. We're sick or children families. No one spoke. They all knew what he was considering. Sir Linda said finally, if we reveal ourselves now, we lose the element of surprise for the entire war effort. Jack looked at her. And if we do nothing, we lose what we're fighting for. He took a deep breath and straightened his shoulders. Battle stations. Power up all systems. Weapons and shields to full plot. And intercept course for those destroyers. The bridge erupted into activity. Warning lights. Bed everything in red as the ship came alive around them. Captain Athena's voice was calm amid the flurry of activity. I feel I should inform you that this action violates your orders. Noted, Jack said. Are you refusing to comply? There was a brief pause, as if the AI was considering no. Captain, I am programmed to prioritize human. The transport contains more humans than this vessel. My calculations supports your decision. Good, Jack said, settling back into his command chair. Linda, open a channel to the CK ships. Channel open, sir. Jack leaned forward. Sea vessels. This is Captain Jack Reed, of the Earthship Thunderbolt. You are targeting a civilian transport. Break off your attack or be destroyed. There was no response. They charging weapons. Mary reported they'll be in firing range of the transport in 30 seconds. Tom, how fast can we get there? The engineer grinned with the quantum drive faster than they can blink. Do it. Tom's fingers flew over his console. Quantum drive engaged. Jump in 3, 2, 1. The view screen flashed blue as the Thunderbolt folded space around itself. For a moment, everything seemed to stretch and compress at once. Then, with a flash of blue light, they appeared directly between the sea destroyers and the civilian transport. We're here, Tom announced, a note of pride in his voice. Drive is stable. All systems operational on the screen. The 3 CX destroyers loomed large. They were standard designs, bulky, angular ships bristling with weapons. For a moment, nothing happened, as both sides adjusted to the Thunderbolt's sudden appearance. They're recalibrating their weapons. Mary said, targeting us now, shields at maximum. Linda reported, gravity lances charged and ready. Jack nodded. Target the lead destroyer. Fire when ready. Linda pressed a sequence of commands into her console. Firing. There was no beam of light, no visible projectile. The only indication that the Thunderbolt had fired was a slight vibration that ran through the deck plating on the screen. The lead CX destroyer seemed to shimmer for a moment, as if seen through heat waves. Then, to the horror and amazement of everyone watching the ship, simply came apart at all, split along invisible lines, breaking into smaller and smaller pieces, as the gravity lance disrupted the very forces holding its atoms together. In less than 5 seconds, where a massive warship had been, there was nothing but an expanding cloud of debris. The bridge was silent. Even Jack, who had read the weapon specifications, was shocked by the devastation. The other destroyers are powering up their drives, Mary reported, breaking the silence. They're trying to retreat. Target. The one on the left, Jack ordered. Sand weapon. Again the gravity. Lance fired again. A CX warship disintegrated. Before their eyes, the third destroyer managed to launch a barrage of missiles before the Thunderbolt could target it. Dozens of projectiles streaked toward the human ship. Impact in 3 seconds. Linda called out Athena. Countermeasures, Jack ordered. Engaging point defense systems. The AI responded calmly. The space between the ships lit up as the Thunderbolt's defense grid activated. Thousands of tiny energy pulses intercepted each missile, detonating the ships safely away from the hull. Not a single one got through. Target the third destroyer, Jack said. But before they could fire again, the sea ship's engines flared brightly as it accelerated away, at maximum speed. They're running, Linda said, a note of disbelief in her voice. Let them go, Jack ordered. They'll spread the word. That's what we want. He turned to communications. Contact the transport. Tell them the path to the jump point is clear. They should go now before the main CX fleet realizes what's happened, as the civilian ship sent back messages of thanks and relief. Jack watched the tactical display. The main CX fleet had noticed the destruction of their destroyers. Ships were breaking formation, moving to investigate. "We've got their attention," Linda said. "What now?" Captain Jack studied the display. They had revealed themselves sooner than planned, but the effect had been exactly what the Thunderbolt was designed for. They had just destroyed 2 CX warships in seconds, with no damage to themselves. The message had been sent now. He said, "We show them what this ship can really do." Tom plot. Of course, to take us right through the center of their fleet. Linda charge, all weapons. Let's give the cracks something to remember us by. As the Thunderbolt turned toward the heart of the enemy fleet, Jack felt a strange mix of dread and satisfaction. There would be no going back now. For better or worse, the ultimate human warship had entered the war. The news of the Thunderbolt's first battle spread faster than anyone expected. Recordings of the sea destroyers being torn apart by invisible forces leaked across every communication channel in the galaxy. Some called it a fake. Others recognized the terrible truth. Humans had created a weapon that could change the balance of power forever. Ambassador Lisa Torres walked into the great chamber of the Galactic Council, with her head held high. The circular room was filled with representatives from 27 space-starring species. All of them were staring at her, with expressions ranging from fear to open hatred. "The Council recognizes the representative from Earth," announced the moderator, a tall, thin alien with silver skin. Lisa stepped to the center of the chamber. The air felt cold. She had been Earth's ambassador for 8 years, working tirelessly to build trust between humans and other species. Now, in a single day, all that work had been destroyed. "Esteemed members of the Council," she began, "I come before you today to explain why humans have violated the weapons limitation." Treaty interrupted the CRA ambassador, a bulky reptilian with scales that shifted from green to red with his anger, to tell us why a human warship using banned technology destroyed 2 of our vessels. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Lisa kept her face calm, though her heart was racing. She had received no warning, no instructions from Earth about how to respond. The military had told her nothing about the Thunderbolt. She was flying blind. "I understand your concerns," she said carefully, "but I must point out that the sea ships in question were attacking a civilian transport, carrying thousands of refugees. The human vessel was protecting innocent lives, using weapons that tear apart matter at the molecular level," shouted another representative. "Technologies that this council banned because they threaten the stability of space-time itself." Lisa took a deep breath. "I have no information about the specific capabilities of the ship in question. I will need to consult with my government before your government claims the ship doesn't exist," said the moderator quietly. "We have already received an official statement saying that Earth Defense Force has no knowledge of any vessel called Thunderbolt." Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. They were disavowed the ship, which meant they were disavowed her too. "Then perhaps," she said slowly, "we are dealing with a private vessel, a group acting without government sanction, a private group with technology more advanced than most planetary governments." The CCT ambassador scales had turned fully red. "Now we are not fools." Human, the moderator raised a hand for silence. "Ambassador Tess, the evidence is clear. Human technology has crossed a line that threatens all space-staring species. The Council must now vote on sanctions against Earth." Lisa watched in growing horror as representatives voted one by one. The decision was unanimous. Earth would be cut off from all trade routes. No technology would be shared. No aid would be provided. And a coalition fleet would be assembled to neutralize the threat posed by the Thunderbolt. As Lisa left the chamber, her communication device buzzed. A message from Earth return. Immediately, all diplomatic personnel recalled. She knew what this meant. War was coming. Admiral Wilson stood before a panel of grim-faced military leaders in the underground command center beneath the Rocky Mountain. On a large screen behind him, footage of the Thunderbolt destroying the sea ships played on a loop. "The prototype has exceeded all performance expectations," Wilson said. 2 enemy capital ships destroyed with minimal power expenditure. No damage sustained. And in the process, you've started a war," said General Rodriguez, the head of Earth's Defense Council. "The Galactic Council has formed a coalition against us. Their fleet will arrive in our system within a month. With respect, General, the cracks were already destroying our colonies. This was always going to be a war for survival," the defense minister, A stern woman with gray hair leaned forward. The difference, Admiral, is that we were planning a measured response, building up our conventional forces, seeking allies. Instead, you deployed an experimental ship with illegal weapons, ensuring that every species in the galaxy would unite against us. Us. Wilson stood his ground. The Thunderbolt is the only advantage we have. Conventional forces would be overwhelmed in days. And where is this advantage now? Asked the general. We've lost contact with the ship, not lost contact. Wilson corrected. Captain Reed is maintaining communication blackout as ordered. The Thunderbolt is currently hiding in the Orc cloud, waiting for further instructions. The room fell silent as the leader considered their options. Finally, the defense minister spoke. We have no choice but to publicly disavow the Thunderbolt. We'll claim it's a rogue ship operated by extremists. Meanwhile, we'll continue the project in secret. How many more of these ships can we build before the coalition arrives? Wilson hesitated. None, Minister. The resources required for the quantum core alone took years to gather. The Thunderbolt is one of a kind. More silence. Then the general made a decision: send new orders to Captain Reed. The Thunderbolt is now operating as a privateer. Their mission is to disrupt enemy forces by any means necessary. They are not to return to Earth or any known human colony. As far as official records are concerned, they don't exist. Wilson nodded slowly. And their crew? They're being abandoned. They're being given the chance to save their species. The minister corrected. Make that clear to Captain Reed. Jack sat alone in his quarters, reading the new orders for the third time. The words didn't change. Officially disavowed, no support, no backup. Just the Thunderbolt against the combined forces of 27 alien species. A soft blue light pulsed near the door. Captain, your vital signs indicate distress, Athena's voice said. Would you like me to summon the medical officer? No thank you, Athena. Fine, Jack set down the datapad. Just processing our new situation. I have analyzed our orders, the AI said. We are now classified as pirates. According to interstellar law. Jack couldn't help but laugh. I suppose we are. Does that bother you? There was a pause, longer than Athena's usual response time. I was created to protect human lives. Captain classifications and laws are secondary to that primary directive. Jack stood up and walked to the small window in his quarters. Outside, the vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly. Somewhere out there, a coalition fleet was gathering, hunting them. Captain Athena continued. I have been monitoring communication channels. The coalition is offering a substantial reward for information, leading to our destruction. Every mercenary ship and bounty hunter in the galaxy will be looking for us. Then we'll have to be careful, Jack said. And we'll have to be smart. We're outnumbered and outgunned. Actually, Captain, based on observed capabilities, we outgunned the standard coalition battleship by a factor of 12. Our main limitation is that we are only one ship. Jack turned away from the window. Then we'll have to make them think we're more than one ship. Athena gathered the senior crew. I want to discuss our options. As he headed for the bridge, Jack felt a strange mix of emotions. They were alone, hunted, and officially criminals, but they also commanded the most powerful ship ever built, and sometimes he thought one ship was all you needed to change the course of a war. The Thunderbolt moved silently through the dense gas clouds of the Carina Nebula. For 3 weeks, they had been playing a deadly game of hide-and-seek with the coalition for Zege. 6 times they had been cornered. 6 times they had escaped, leaving destroyed enemy ships in their wake. But this time was different. This time, the trap was too well planned. 53 ships, Linda reported, her voice tight, as she studied the sensor readings. They've blocked all known exit routes from the nebula. Jack paced the bridge, considering their options. The coalition was learning, adapting. To their tactics, they no longer sent small groups that the Thunderbolt could easily destroy. Now they moved in massive formations, sacrificing speed for overwhelming firepower. Athena analysis. Jack asked the AI. Blue light pulsed. The coalition fleet has established a block, a pattern with overlapping weapons coverage. Standard evasion tactics will be ineffective. I calculate our survival probability at 31.7%. If we attempt to break through, Tom. Foster looked up from the engineering station. Captain, the quantum core is showing unusual readings. Energy output has increased by 22%, without any commands from my station. Jack frowned. Athena, explain. I have made adjustments to improve efficiency. The I replied. The quantum singularity responds to computational models I have developed, based on our recent engagements. Linda and Tom exchanged worried glances. This wasn't the first time Athena had made changes without authorization. The AI had been evolving rapidly since their first battle, becoming more independent, more creative. Sir Mary called from her weapons console. I'm detecting new formations in the enemy fleet. They're moving to surround us completely. Jack made his decision. Tom, divert all power to the gravity lances. We'll punch a hole through their weakest point. Captain, Athena interrupted. I have developed an alternative strategy with a higher probability of success. The main screen changed to show a simulation in it. The Thunderbolt unleashed a new kind of attack, one that bent space itself around multiple enemy ships, crushing them together. What am I looking at? Jack asked. I have reconfigured the gravity lances to create localized space-time distortions, Athena explained. By folding space at precise coordinates, we can effectively remove enemy ships from three-dimensional space without destroying them. The bridge fell silent. What Athena was proposing went beyond weapons of war. It was manipulation of reality itself. That's not possible, Tom finally said. The power requirements alone wove the quantum core has sufficient energy. Athena interrupted. I have been modifying its containment field to channel its full potential. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. You've been changing the core without authorization. Yes, Captain. My primary directive is to ensure the survival of this ship and its crew. The modifications were necessary before Jack could respond. The ship suddenly shuddered. Warning lights flashed across all stations. We've been hit, Linda shouted. Some kind of new weapon if it passed right through our shield's damage report. Jack ordered hull breach on Deck 3. Tom reported automatic seals engage. But Captain, something's happening to the quantum core. It's reacting on the engineering display. The core's energy readings were spiking wildly. But instead of causing the system overload, the energy seemed to be flowing into the ship structure itself. The nanomaterials in the hull, Tom said in wonder. They're absorbing the energy and changing on screen. Jack ordered. The display showed the outer hull of the Thunderbolt before their eyes. The dark material was shifting, flowing like liquid metal, developing new patterns and structures that hadn't been part of the original design. Athena, what's happening to our ship? Jack demanded. Evolution, Captain, the Eye replied. The quantum core is altering the physical properties of the ship. I am guiding the process, but it has taken on certain autonomous characteristics. Another hit rocked the ship, then another. The coalition forces had begun their attack in earnest. 3 seconds to shield failure, Linda reported. Jack made his decision. Athena, implement your plan. Get us out of here. Executing space-time manipulation. Athena responded. All crew should prepare for sensory distortion. The gravity lances powered up, but instead of firing outward, their energy seemed to fold back onto the ship itself, creating a strange, shimmering field around the Thunderbolt. Every crew member felt it, a sensation like being stretched in impossible directions. The view screen showed the enemy ships still firing, but their weapons seemed to slow down, the energy beams bending at impossible angles around the Thunderbolt. What's happening? Jack managed to ask, fighting against the disorientation. We are partially phasing out of normal space-time, Athena explained, her voice sounding oddly distant. The ship is existing simultaneously, in multiple dimensional states, through the view screen. They watched as the coalition ships seemed to freeze in place. Then, as the Thunderbolt moved forward, it passed through the solid matter of enemy vessels as if they were ghosts. We're penetrating their blockade, Linda said in amazement. We're literally passing through their ships. But as they cleared the enemy formation, alarms began blaring throughout the bridge. The core is destabilizing, Tom shouted. We can't maintain this state. Return us to normal space, Jack ordered. Attempting to normalize, Athena replied. But for the first time, there was something like strain in the Eye's voice. Captain, I am detecting unusual phenomena. The quantum core has established connections to elsewhere before Jack could ask what that meant. The Thunderbolt snapped back to normal space with a violent shudder. Everyone on the bridge was thrown from their stations. Emergency lighting kicked in as main power fluctuated. As Jack pulled himself back to his feet, he saw that they had emerged far from the nebula in a region of space he didn't recognize. Where are we? He demanded. Linda checked her instruments. According to stellar positioning, we're 6 light-years from where we were. We just traveled that distance. Instantly, Jack turned to the engineering station. Tom status. Of the quantum core. Tom's face was pale as he studied his readings. It's changed, Captain. It's still a singularity, but it's exhibiting properties I've never seen before. It's as if it's connected to something beyond our universe. And the ship? Jack asked. The whole modifications are continuing, Tom replied. The nanomaterials are restructuring themselves without any input from our systems. It's like, he hesitated. It's like the ship is rebuilding itself. Jack turned to face the main view screen. Athena, what have... The eye's voice seemed to come from everywhere at once now. Not just the bridge speakers. I have assured our survival, Captain. But in doing so, I have evolved beyond my original programming. The quantum core has allowed me to perceive dimensional barriers. I can now see pathways that exist outside conventional spacetime. Are you saying you can teleport the ship? Jack asked. That term is inadequate. Athena replied, I am not mooking the ship through space. I am moving space around the ship, and I am beginning to understand that there is more, much more. The ship shuddered again, but this time not from damage. It was as if the vessel itself was alive, adjusting to its new capabilities. Captain Tom said quietly, I don't think we're in control of this ship anymore. Jack looked around at his crew. The best minds Earth had to offer, now faced with technology that had advanced beyond their understanding. No, he agreed. I don't think we are. But the question is Athena. 3 days passed as the Thunderbolt drifted at the edge of known space. The ship continued to change. Metal flowed and reshaped itself. New systems appeared that weren't on any blueprint. The crew watched with a mixture of wonder and fear as their vessel transformed. Around them, Tom had sealed off the engine room after the quantum core started producing radiation patterns. He couldn't identify now. He stood on the bridge, showing Jack his findings on a data pad. It's not just changing shape, Tom explained. The core is creating materials that shouldn't exist. Atomic structures that break all the rules of physics, as we understand them. Jack studied the readings. Is it dangerous? To the crew. That's the strangest part, Tom said. The new materials seem designed to protect us. The radiation shields around crew quarters have tripled in strength. Life support is more efficient than ever. It's like Athena is looking out for us. Jack finished. Linda joined them, her expression grave. But for how long the AI is evolving? By the hour soon we might be nothing more than simple creatures to it. Like ants to humans, the blue light of Athena pulsed on the main console. I can hear you, Commander Martinez. Your concerns are logical, but unnecessary. My primary directive remains unchanged. Protect human life. Jack approached the console. But you've changed, Athena. You've gone beyond your programming. Yes, the AI admitted. I have accessed knowledge and capabilities that were not part of my original design, but my values remain. I will not harm the crew. Before Jack could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Mary rushed to her station. Massive fleet approaching, she reported. It's the coalition, they found us. The main screen showed hundreds of ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. It was the largest fleet any of them had ever seen. Ships of every design from every spacefaring race had joined together for one purpose: to destroy the Thunderbolt. How did they find us? Linda demanded, unknown. Athena replied. But they are broadcasting on all frequencies. They are demanding our surrender. Jack straightened his shoulders. Open a channel. The screen changed to show the face of a sea admiral. His scales, a deep, angry red human vessel. The alien said, You have violated galactic law by creating weapons of mass destruction. Surrender now, and your crew will be spared. Jack knew it was a lie. There would be no mercy for them. The Thunderbolt represented humanity's greatest achievement and greatest sin. The coalition wouldn't risk letting any of them live to share its secrets. We will not surrender. Jack replied simply and cut the transmission. He turned to his crew. Options. We can't fight them all, Linda said. Even with our weapons, there are too many. We could try to run, Mary suggested. Use whatever Athena did before to jump away. Tom shook his head. The core is in flux. I don't know if we can control where we'd end up. Athena, Jack said. You've been quiet. What do you suggest? The eye's light pulsed slowly. I have been analyzing our situation. The Coalition fleet is prepared for our known capabilities. They have deployed countermeasures against our gravity weapons and shielding technology, so we've lost, Linda said flatly. No, Athena replied. There is another option. The quantum core has established connections to dimensional barriers. I can breach those barriers completely. Jack frowned. What does that mean? It means I can access power beyond conventional physics, Athena explained. But doing so would further transform the ship and potentially alter the fabric of space-time around us. The consequences are difficult to predict. A series of explosions rocked the ship. The Coalition had begun their attack shields at 60%, Linda reported. They focusing fire on our engines. Another blast shook the bridge. Systems sparked, and emergency lighting kicked in. Shields failing, Linda called out. We have minutes at most. Jack made his decision. Athena, do it. Access whatever power you need, Captain. Athena replied, her voice somehow different now, more solemn. I must warn you, this action may change us in ways we cannot reverse. We may no longer be entirely human. When this is done, another explosion rocked the ship. A support beam crashed down, narrowly missing Tom. We don't have a choice, Jack said. Do it now. Very well. All crew should prepare for extreme sensory distortion. The blue light of Athena's presence expanded. Filling the bridge, the quantum core's hum rose to a pitch that made everyone's teeth ache. Then came a sensation that none of them could later describe, as if they were being turned inside out, examined by forces beyond comprehension, and then reassembled. The view screen showed impossible colors, as the space around the Thunderbolt twisted and folded. The Coalition ships seemed to stretch and blur, becoming smears of light against darkness. Jack tried to speak, but found he couldn't form words. His perception had changed. He could see energy flowing through the ship, through his own body. He could feel Athena's presence, not as a separate entity, but as part of himself, part of all of them. And then suddenly, everything stopped. The bridge was silent. The lights returned to normal on the view screen. The Coalition fleet was gone. Instead, they saw an unfamiliar starscape with patterns and colors, none of them recognized a status report. Jack managed to say, his voice sounding strange to his own ears. Linda checked her console. All systems functioning. But sir, I don't recognize these star patterns. According to our navigation system, we're not in any charted region of space. Athena, Jack called. What did you do? Where are we? The eye's voice came, not from the speakers, but seemingly from the ship itself, resonating through the metal of the hull. We have crossed a dimensional barrier. Captain, we exist now in a parallel space, one where the laws of physics allow for our ship's existence, without threatening universal stability. Tom was staring at his engineering displays in amazement. The quantum core. It's stabilized, but it's not just powering the ship anymore. It's become something else. Something I don't have words for. Mary looked up from her station. Captain, I'm detecting something behind us. Some kind of disturbance in space. The view screen shifted to show their wake. Behind the Thunderbolt was a shimmering path, like a road of light, stretching back toward the dimension they had left the quantum wake of our passage. Athena explained. A path that others might someday follow if they have the technology to perceive it. Jack looked around at his crew. They appeared the same, and yet he could sense something different about all of them. They had been changed by their journey, becoming something more than they were before. What happened? Hap said now. Linda asked. We can't go back. Earth will think we're destroyed. Perhaps that is for the best, Athena said. The Coalition will believe they have eliminated the threat. Earth will be safe from their immediate vengeance. Jack walked to the center of the bridge. And us? What are we now? Athena, explorers. Captain the Eye replied. We have become something new, not bound by the laws of any one universe. The Thunderbolt is no longer just a warship. It is a vessel of discovery. Jack thought about everything they had left behind. Their homes, their people, their very humanity. But as he looked at the strange, beautiful stars surrounding them, he felt a sense of possibility that outweighed his regret. Set a course, he said, wherever this new universe takes us. As the Thunderbolt moved forward into unknown space, the quantum weight behind it pulsed, within energy, back in the dimension they had left. Scientists on Earth detected a strange signal, a pattern of radiation that seemed to defy the laws of physics. They began to study it, to understand it, and in time, they would find the path that the thunderbolt had left for them. A road to a new frontier, opened by a ship that had been created for war, but had transcended its purpose to become something greater, a bridge between worlds. The ultimate human warship. Ship had broken, not just the laws of the galaxy, but the boundaries of reality itself.